Welcome back, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. My name is Jason. I'll be your host on this CFL talk show, Huskies Huddle. In this video, we preview and predict Week 15 of the 2022 CFL season. But really quickly, before we get started, I just wanted to apologize for the lack of videos on the channel lately. I made a community post last week apologizing for the lack of recap video last week, and I, again, did not get around to making one this week. So I apologize for that, guys. I just have a whole bunch of stuff going on. Final year of school here for college here, so grinding that out, and then obviously I got other stuff going on with work and whatnot. So apologize for the lack of content lately, but we're still in the stretch run of the CFL season, and we'll pick up content on the channel as we get towards the playoffs here. So ultimately, we only have 3 games on the CFL schedule this week, but that means we get to go more in depth about each matchup. So we're going to start with the first game between the Edmonton Elks and the Saskatchewan Roughriders from Mosaic Stadium in Regina, where the Saskatchewan Roughriders are favored by 7 points here. And this is a do-or-die game for the Edmonton Elks. If they lose this game, they are officially, not that they were all too close anyway, they're officially eliminated from playoff contention. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders are the team that has the chance to do it. This is coach in Chris Jones, former head coach for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who made a comment in the offseason about how Cody Fajardo was kind of limited in terms of being a passing quarterback. So I think that, that is a motivating factor in this one. Saskatchewan already 2-0 in the season series against Edmonton. 2 very close games so far. So I think it's going to be another really tight one in this one. The big story coming out of Edmonton this week is that Taylor Cornelius, quarterback, young quarterback for this team, given a 2-year contract extension. Not exactly setting the world on fire through his first 2 years in the CFL, but a young guy that they've invested time into, going to compete for that job with Trey Ford, presumably next season, among other players. So congratulations to him for the contract extension. So he is going up against Fajardo in this one, and it should be very interesting to see who comes out on top. Edmonton has been a much better road team than home team this season and the last 2 seasons. So I think it should be interesting, and I think Edmonton has a legitimate chance to win. But that being said, I am going to take the Riders to win this game 27-24. I'd be nervous about that 7-point spread. I think that's far too much. I think these two teams have proven to be very close when they played this season, even when they played in Edmonton. So I'm going to take the Riders to win, but I think it will be close. One final note on that last game there. I wanted to say that the biggest obstacle for Saskatchewan this season, and I think the rest of the season, is really just getting themselves healthy. They've dealt with so many injuries and unfortunate circumstances so far this season with the COVID outbreak and recently with a stomach flu virus going through the team. So hopefully they can get healthy and get out of their own way for the stretch run. Unfortunately, that's happened to them this season. So I think that's the biggest obstacle for the Rough Riders the rest of the season, looking destined for that 4th place crossover position, regardless of really what happens the rest of the way this year. Now moving on to our second matchup of the week between the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The last 2 Grey Cups, this has been the matchup with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, of course, winning back-to-back championships. And they have a chance to end the Tiger Cat season again here. And this is just, effectively a really tough game for the Tiger Cats, as a Tiger Cats fan, for me to go and watch, because I really have little faith for this team to move the ball against any defense in the CFL right now, let alone this Winnipeg defense, especially with those pass rushers they got on the outside with Willie Jefferson. Nightmares for Tiger Cats fans going back to that 2019 Grey Cup, the first loss that they had against them. So, not a whole lot of faith in the Tiger Cats in this one. And I think Zach Collaros, he always just seems like he has a little bit of an edge every time he plays the Tiger Cats the last couple of seasons. And it should be no different here as he goes into Tim Hortons Field, his former home, when he was with the Tiger Cats. So should be interesting to see if Winnipeg indeed does blow out the Tiger Cats as expected in this one. But the Tiger Cats, that being said, they're coming off a bye week, so it should be interesting to see what happens again in this game. But at the end of the day, I am going to take the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to win this game by double digits. I have them winning by a score of 27-14. I just don't think the Ticats are all too competitive of a football team right now. They're right up there with the Elks as perhaps the worst team in the CFL this season. So, I just have no faith in this offense to move the ball to keep up with what Zach Clares, who is looking to repeat his MOP, is doing right now. And again, I missed one extra point I was going to say about the Tiger Cats in this game, and that is Dane Evans is effectively playing for his CFL career these next 6 weeks. He has a chance to assure that he is a starter somewhere, if not in Hamilton, next season if he plays well the last 6 weeks. But if he shows what he has shown so far this season, it really makes no sense for any team to bring him in at a starter's salary for next season, so he has plenty on the line, especially in this one. Now moving on to the third and final game of this week between the Calgary Stampeders and the BC Lions from McMahon Stadium in Calgary, where the Calgary Stampeders are favored by 6 points here. And obviously the big story in this one is that Vernon Adams Jr., recently acquired over the last couple of weeks from the Montreal Alouettes, is going to be making his first start at quarterback for the BC Lions. And I think one interesting thing I'm looking at when compared to where this offense was with Nathan Rourke here, Nathan Rourke was by far the highest percentage passer in the CFL. I believe it was something crazy, like 80% completion percentage on the season. And now you're going towards a guy that is a playmaker as well, similar like that, I think, to Vernon Adams and Nathan Rourke. They're pretty similar in that respect. But Vernon Adams is perhaps the least accurate quarterback in the CFL. Now, I think a lot of his completion percentage issues and why it was in the low to mid 50s a lot of the time, I think that had to do with the scheme in Montreal, but I think he does legitimately struggle a lot of the time with those short to intermediate passes. He's more of a great deep ball thrower, which could be an advantage with this BC Lions receiving core, and I think that is going to be a big thing within this game to watch out for. Does Vernon Adams execute at a high level? Does that completion percentage that was so low the past couple of years in Montreal really shoot up the charts with this great supporting cast with the Lions receivers? So very interested to see in that. And then speaking of the Lions receiver, I think the big matchup in this is, can the BC Lions wide receivers, who are been lauded as like the best receiving group in the CFL so far this season, can they take advantage of the Stampeders defensive back room that has had some issues in terms of injuries, inexperience? They've started a lot of younger players back there this season, and should be interesting to see if they can exploit that matchup. I think they do still have a lot of good players back there, but I think that is one matchup that BC could exploit. Another thing I'm watching for is, does this Calgary offense that has started to look a little bit better the last couple of weeks, you're starting to see them fix a few of the issues they've had so far this season. You're starting to see a really great connection between Jake Maier and Malik Henry. Malik Henry has been one of the biggest breakout stars in the CFL this season. He has been the best receiver on this very talented, on paper, Stamps wide receiver core. And then Reggie Bakelton has started to play better since Jake Maier has gotten into the lineup as the starting quarterback. So looking forward to seeing if that trend continues in this game. Ultimately, I do expect the Stampeders to finally win one of these games versus BC or Winnipeg, and I think they're going to do it here, winning this game by 31-21. I just think that they're the better team. They're the healthier team at this point. Vernon Adams obviously making his first start. Maybe the element of surprise plays in there, but at the end of the day, I just think that the Stampeders are the better team. Even when Nathan Rourke was in there, I think Nathan Rourke really was the difference in that matchup. If Nathan Rourke was not there, I think Calgary easily would have blown them out the first time they played. I just think that the Stampeders are better, and that's why I'm taking them in this game. But at the end of the day, those are just my predictions for Week 15 of the 2022 CFL season. Be sure to let me know yours down in the comment section. And with that said, hope you guys enjoy the games this weekend, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.